I'm going to take these, Katie, you can relax. I'm going to take these about 1 meter, 3 feet over. Actually, why don't I just take these away so we can see what's going on? And then I'll set them back up. Oh, thanks, John. It's like, what's going on? We're going to close the curtains. Move this over a bit. And I'm going to keep this quite low, and I'm going to show, we're going to do this slightly differently than Sue's done, because I have flexibility. I'm not limited to that window up there. I can shoot this further down. Put that there for Katie. Right, so which one of these is set up? This one? Okay, great. Let's get that shoot-through umbrella, John, that we had.
Why is it called a shoot-through?
Because light passes through it. And it's like a diffuser. I'll actually show it when we get it on set. There it is.
And that's different than the silver one that you reflected.
Yeah, so this one is kind of like a silk. If you had a silver inside, it would bounce light back. And you shoot through. Is that right? John, I'll do it. Thank you. So just mounts into here, like we had it before on the first setup. And then I'm going to, would you just twist this away so that I can show the students what we're doing? And now I'm blocking all the cameras. Yeah, well, hang on. I'll just twist this side. Put it back. I'll put it right here. Now, I'm using this wall. The light's going to shoot through, bounce off this wall, and come back. This actually has a little bit of reflectiveness inside of here, so we're going to get kind of 2 layers of light. One's coming back from this, and then maybe 50% of it is going to hit the back wall and come back as well. So we get that soft light, super simple equipment setup. You don't need a lot of stuff. And again, I'm going to angle it kind of like it's the sun. Stick it about here, no rhyme or reason for the distance to the wall. If you have a smaller room, you can put it closer to the wall, it's okay. John, let's put this back in. Good, turn on my Pocket Wizard. And where's the camera with the Pocket Wizard as well?
You want the ND filter too?
No, that's fine. Okay. We can play around with this. And if I can get Katie, I'll just do a light test and see where we've ended up.
Model.
Oh, she's coming
That's
back.
right, we can take questions.
Yeah. Well, we can try it. Sue,
Okay.
would you do the honors? You can, yeah, because we're quite low now. So I'm going to start at that shutter speed of 125th of a second, like we explained yesterday. And I'm going to take my ISO.
Where's my bowl?
Oh. Right, let's take some questions from the audience while we get Katie back. Anyone have a question about this setup?
You don't want to take a photo of me?
I do. Just a second.
So is a shadow never cast from either the light sitting there and bouncing light, or when you said you were shooting under your backdrop, you're never getting a shadow coming in and affecting your light at all?
There's a stand?
Right.
Usually it kind of wraps around quite nicely. Yeah, because we're putting so much light, it kind of bounces everywhere.
Okay.
That's kind of what the sun is doing as well. And it's diffused again as well. If you didn't have this, I think you'd probably see a shadow. Yeah.
Just kind of a more basic question, Vicky LH. So really what you're trying to do is slightly blow out your background to make it bright enough for the face.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Sorry, Sue.
Well, do you mean now with the strobe or just shooting in the backlight?
Shooting the backlight in general.
Okay, so the deal is this. When Felix took that shot on a normal exposure, which is what the camera metered because it gets confused by all the white light, it underexposed the girl, but had a perfect exposure of the background because that's the biggest space in the shot. So I pushed 2 stops higher on my meter because what I want to do is go against what it's telling me and expose for the girl, which pushes the background 2 stops up. So unfortunately, if your background is, say, 3 or 4 stops brighter than the girl, it's going to just blow it out, like burn it. And you're not going to have any details, and you'll get banding. And cameras these days can handle it. They couldn't at first. We'd just get these massive bands of magenta when we pushed the background light. But now they can handle it. But the trick was to walk her away from the light and closer to the reflectors because it made her face lighter and then it read better, the meter read better. But I only took it up 2 clicks and to say 2 clicks over, and it was a perfect exposure on her and we didn't burn the highlights too much. Although I will say, you can see the separation in this image. When I shoot in my studio, I paid to have my big window frosted, and it's so soft that the light behind her isn't competing so much. So really what Felix has to do is light the front and the back here. Oh, you're not going to put a light in the front, are you?
No.
You're just going to put reflectors
Reflector,
up.
same thing. So I want to show how it is if we don't have the reflector. So if you would kindly pose, and I will take a shot of you. Just make sure my flash is firing. Good. And remember, guys, I haven't paid attention to what power the light's on, because I'm just going to test it in here. Right. This might not be too flattering, Sue. I'm sorry. Hang on.
That's all right, I can handle
So
it.
that's actually a good starting point. Let's get that up on the screen. It's brighter on here, but I like the light on the back, and all I would diagnose with this is we need to bring light in from the front.
Okay,
Yeah, so I'm going to do that.
so you've actually got a softer backlight than I had, because I can see it already.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear, Sue. John, let's drop this down so that it's on the floor. I think we can get those floor shots. So again, I'm not doing exactly the same thing Sue was doing,
And come
because
on your knees again.
I don't have that restriction of the window being up high. We're much more flexible here
Yeah.
with our setup. Right, if you unscrew this, it's stuck down there. This is why you use silks, right, Sue? There we go. Sorry, this is the dark, the dirty, dark backstory of photography. Good. So I'm happy with that backlight. John, let's put in those V-flats in the same fashion.
So the light is facing away from the scrim,
Yeah.
bouncing into the umbrella
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
Like you did that yesterday, and then you turned it around and shot. Well, the first one you shot the umbrella and then bounced back to the. Would you be able to do both?
Yeah, we could. What I did yesterday is I moved this like that.
Can you see Felix on camera?
I moved this kind of over to the side, so actually no light is bouncing in any direction back to where the subject is. This is completely feathered. It's just the sides kind of skimming across,
Okay.
kind of as if you're not getting any direct light. You're getting the edges of it. But for this, the backlight is going to be a little bit harder to kind of blow out in the same way. You didn't worry too much about the sun coming straight into here. So
But I can't change the sun.
Yeah, I know, but you didn't worry about it being harsher. It's actually nice if you have a big, strong light coming in from the back. So that's why, for the first time, the light is kind of angled in a way that it bounces almost straight back.
All right.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to show one other little trick as well, once we've got this set up. So V-flats.
I feel like my greatest problem or block with lighting was that I was going to have to change how I shoot. And I feel like all I'm doing is making the sun around how I already shoot. That's probably something I learned the most about these last 2 days, don't you think? And how achievable that is, because I already know how to do everything else. So all I have to do is pull away from the window and make my own sun, right? And that really makes a huge difference to how I shoot and when and where.
So the other thing is, now we don't even need to use that ND filter, because what I shot of Sue, the reference there, is at f2.8. It just kind of works that way because we're using that really bright light from behind.
So interesting again, I'm in the same situation I was in yesterday where she's in darkness.
Right, so we have to...
Just knees apart, Katie, and just kick out this way. This elbow goes around the body. Yeah, that's a girl. Stay
Let's
down.
see if I can turn up that model lamp.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at here.
Here, John. You just turn it up there.
Turn up half an inch, honey.
Oh, it's already the max. It cycles through 3 times sometimes.
Don't worry, that shadow behind is the
There
boys.
it is. That's John. So I've turned up the model lamp a little bit.
I think the ISO needs to come up a
Okay.
tickle.
Yeah. Yeah, you're metering at the back of the camera. Purists will tell you that's not okay. I don't care.
Oh, it doesn't need to
Your
come up
clients
that
don't
far.
ask you if you metered with the back of the camera or, you know.
Little baby smile. Good girl. Beautiful. What do you think?
Let me see it on this. That's beautiful. Good. Let's. I want to
her
do a
up.
reference shot just for
Oh, the ball.
fun. Thank you, John.
So the temperature that when we shoot lights, the temperature is clearly redder.
Yeah.
And when I opened it in Photoshop, I found that to be the most difference in our images.
Interesting.
Because we photographed the same people and the same poses,
Yeah.
and the poses were almost identical.
Yeah.
The shadows were so close, but the temperature was significantly different. And you can alter it to a certain degree, but when a skin tone picks up a warm,
It's
it's
still
very
redder?
difficult to take it into a cold.
Yeah, I actually take out some of the red as when I import into
Okay.
the program, I automatically take out some of the red.
You do?
I don't know why it does that. I think it's probably got something to do with the physics of the skin,
Yeah.
how it reflects sunlight. And yeah, that is a difference. Luckily, we shoot in RAW, so we can adjust all of these things.
Yeah, so you take red out of most of your images?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I shoot cold. I like cold work. I like cold cyans. So, yeah, okay, so you take red out when you like.
Yeah, we just had a question over here related to this.
I can't really see the picture on the other side, but I know when we did the natural light, you guys used the half white reflector there. Is it necessary with this, or is the studio light kicking up enough?
I think one of the things is we have the backlight is lower down.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
So-
we didn't need to.
Because of the way the angles, you know, it was coming from here and doing this onto Katie. Now it's coming from here. The light that's bouncing back is more in Katie's
Filling
face.
it
So
in.
that's probably why Sue didn't notice it right away, but
Yeah.
we can try
Have a
it.
look.
Right, that reference is actually quite different, but I wasn't trying to make the reference work exactly for this.
Well, she's actually standing in my one.
In
so
your one.
I can get her to stand up. You need
Yeah,
to put
let's
the
try
scrim
that.
up. Yeah.
How tall is she? That should work. Let's see how that looks.
Okay, oh
just
yeah,
there.
that's working. Just step towards me, Katie, because I need you towards the reflector. That's it. And I think this was back a little bit because you were dancing. That's it.
So can you see in my shot, these lights that are on in the studio don't register at all. So we have enough of that flashlight that it overpowers these completely.
Yeah, it doesn't even show up.
Yeah. So I think that I'm happy with that's close enough for me.
Okay.
You're right, there is that redness, isn't it? Coming in. Okay, and let's try it also with that reflector from below. Like
How do
had
you
it.
remove your reds in your RAW files? Do you do it in Lightroom?
Aperture.
You-
I use aperture.
Okay, and you just remove your reds in
When I import
curves?
it in the colors,
Yes.
I just take the saturation down on the red slightly and I add a bit of yellow. But that's just a personal preference.
Yeah, but yeah, that's great. That's a great tip.
And I also, I don't know how it works in Lightroom, but in Aperture you can change the tint from green and
Yes, you
red
can
on the
too
white balance.
on RAW window and Photoshop.
Yeah, so that's usually I kind of play around in there a little bit. And you know what I would do here is you have some gray in the picture you can just drop on. You know, you can use that dropper to highlight the gray and then it figures out your white balance for you.
Okay.
And Aperture is really good at auto white balance now as well. Just hit it and it usually gets it right.
All right, so what I want you to do now is the shimmy again. And when I get the best shimmy, it's this side, when you turn your left shoulder towards me, and then just no, not that far, just keep doing the shimmy, but it's this one that I click on, yeah. And so just elbows back a little bit, hold the back of the skirt a little bit more instead of the front, that's it, and then just give me that little flick. And let's just do it not too far, Katie, and then just smile and look down. That's a girl, beautiful, don't stop doing that because that's amazing. All right, now push your chin forward just a tickle and a little bit more of a smirk. Good girl. Okay, push your chin forward a little bit more and do a big smile. Don't turn so far, just flick more with the dress. That's a girl, that was beautiful. And let's do that with like a laughy, laughy, laughy. Good girl, that's gorgeous.
The same, she has these beautiful cheekbones and you're getting that same highlight just under the cheekbone.
Yeah.
And both lights. Beautiful.
Okay, I'll do one more because I just got you on the side. I know that there's probably one more coming, but let me just nail it because I want a good shot. A little bit more of a smile. That's a girl. Elbows back. Beautiful big open smile and more flick on that dress. Give me a real smile.
Okay, great. So I wanted
Yeah.
to show you one other little trick actually.
Sure.
Because that works, right?
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, perfect. If Sue's happy, I'm happy. I want to show you one other trick. You talked yesterday about kind of getting a flare into that image, and I want to show you how you can do that just past the face. We go.
Can they roll the TV out so we can see it right here? Because we can't see the picture.
No, they can't, but we'll pull this down.
Okay.
John, while we're talking, slide this one across so everyone can see what we're talking about. This one.
So I can do two things here. Actually, John, let's do both versions of this. Would you mind plugging this in for me?
Okay, Felix, here's a good question.
Yes.
On the natural light image, one of the things I do like about natural light is how much of the light comes into the body and face.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you can just go up on your ISO a little bit, or I
Okay.
could turn the light up a little bit.
All right.
That's that wraparound effect, you mean? Yeah. Natural light does tend to have a little bit of a difference there, because it's, this is a very simple version of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to show how I set it up with two lights, and that might also make it wrap around a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep the umbrella where it was, and we're going to compete for space here. And I'm going to put a light, Sue, right behind Katie's head.
Okay, so pull the scrim back so the students can see. Go that way, Katie, that way.
And again, I'm not too worried about these shadows. Everything kind of bounces around and it's fine. Is this thing on? And this, if I'm using two lights, I don't want to make this complicated, and I'll show it with one light as well. I'm just going to turn the second one to its lowest power so that I don't get confused and start overpowering this guy. And what I'm trying to achieve, let's get the scrim back in. And this is probably the best for a close-up, maybe just a headshot. And Sue, if you get Katie to stand, you can see that second bulb, can't you? Just skirting on the edge of that, where it's behind her face, and you should get a beautiful...
Do you want her to stand against the scrim?
Yes.
Or away from it? Okay.
Yeah, or she can come away a little bit as well, wherever you were.
Go this way.
And then you can just
Okay.
move your camera to kind of
Yeah.
get that in, and you'll see the effect it has. We'll put the B-flats back in for you.
So if you can, I don't know if a camera can get through this crack here, but it's kind of neat to see that light feathering around her now. Okay, so hold the dress, elbows back, nice and strong. That's the one.
And I'll turn, yeah.
Just bring your chin this way and stop. That's a girl.
And remember,
tiny
we've
baby
added light
smile.
now, so it'll probably look a lot brighter. And just move her so that your lens is really getting that.
So I can see the whole light. So
fact,
do you
let
want
me
me
make
to
sure.
cover it or?
It's not firing, that's why it's
Ah,
not
okay.
different. Yeah. We actually need to make it fire. Oh, I didn't turn the pocket wizard on. Rookie mistake. Right, let me try that. Don't do this at home. Don't look at the light while you fire it. You're going to get blinded.
Chin up a little touch, honey.
Moment of truth. You see how it's like getting that really bright, like flary light almost?
It's almost too much, but it's...
Yeah. She looks like an elf there in that
do.
picture. Let me
Lord of the
turn
Rings.
this second light up a little bit so
That's
it's a
a
bit
compliment,
stronger.
by the way,
Yes, it is.
because Felix is a rabid Lord of the Rings
Yes,
fan.
yes. I'm surprised there hasn't been more Lord of the Rings references, but Sue knows.
We speak Elvish.
Yes. Okay, so I've turned that up to double the power, that extra light
Yeah.
we've added in, and let's
Okay.
just see what happens when you do that. You might have to change your
Chin this way, darling.
ISO to be less sensitive.
It's at 125 right now, so I can't change it too much.
You can go to 100, see what happens. Oh, that's really bright, isn't it? Wow. She's turned from
Yeah,
elfish,
but remember, we are
elvish to alien.
seeing the JPEG.
The
you
JPEG
know,
version, yeah. On the back of the camera, yeah.
It is bright, and it's
is
lost
bright.
a lot of darks. But
Okay.
my camera's set to neutral, remember? It's
Yeah.
not set to contrast.
And I'll show you what happens if I turn that soft umbrella light off, and we should get a really strong flare.
Okay, because we've got 12 minutes and we want to do the black tunnel light behind as
Oh,
well.
yes, we do. Okay, well, this just takes a second. So we'll do a couple of shots and move on.
Back this way, chin back this way.
So now I've turned off the light, the original light with the umbrella, and you might have to change your settings because
Oh
it's
yeah,
going
I'm
to be
going
very
to go
dark.
up on my ISO.
Yeah, go up on your ISO.
Oh, it's
And-
actually quite lovely.
yeah, and you see you're getting, on the right, you're getting a lot more light, and it's kind of more directional as if the sun was coming in. And here is where a thinner diffusion cloth, you would get more of that effect. Like a
Okay, I
flare.
turned my ISO up and I didn't need to.
Oh.
160 or actually 100, probably one. I'll do 125. Tell
I'm
me
just trying to-
something. This is almost better than the first one.
Yeah, but that's because we've got the diffusion cloth here is fairly thick, so you're not going
There
to
it
get
is.
that burn.
So that
Yeah.
is 125, 2.8. ISO is 125. And can you just show them the light that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just deconstruct it so that they can see what you actually just did then,
We'll move
because
to the
that
next.
actually is closer, I think, to the natural light than the original light.
And that's because you had the sun in your natural light shot, giving quite a focused light. If you had
Okay.
shot your original with cloudy sky.
No,
so-
don't move anything. Don't
Oh,
move
no, I
anything.
know, but this one wasn't on.
Wasn't turned on.
I know, but you had it set up bouncing in there, and it is.
So originally, this one with the umbrella in it was on, creating a really soft kind of light box from behind. Then I added this, and both were firing, but they were kind of still creating a really soft light. So I turned this one off, and the last shot there is just this one. That's why you're getting a little bit of a warm, hotter light from this side, giving it more of a gradient. So I'm going to be Katie. Sorry, I'm not as pretty. The light in relation to her was kind of here. You can move her so that the light is just coming into the edge of your camera frame, and you would get that highlight just at the top of your frame. You could move it so it was over here, coming over above her head. So you can mess around with that, move her. If it's right behind her, it's going to come on both sides. And if you use a thinner silk than this, you'll get more of that flare effect as well. So that's a really fun thing to play around with. Just the bare bulb behind one of these, backlit, it's going to look great.
Okay, the setup for the next one, is it possible to leave the backdrop there so that we
Yes.
don't block the students, and for you to put the light there?
Yes,
Okay, let's do it.
absolutely.
So Katie,
We need an
can
extension.
you
Okay.
come
Turn this on.
stand here? And what I want is 2 black V-flats, one on either side.
Right. So we're going to use exactly the same setup as we did with the backlit, apart from this is going to be pointing, because I don't have a wall back here, this is going to be pointing, we're only going to rely on the light that reflects back from this to onto that scrim. So I might have to turn this light up a little bit. So bring that scrim right here. And I think if we have it coming at this angle, it's going to look quite ugly because it's really flat. So I'm going to bring the scrim and the light up so we get a light that's coming kind of from above. Okay, John, we're going to go quite high. Yeah, let's go there. And then I'm going to angle this forward. That should just work. There we go. Just to give it the impression that it's like a skylight. Is this kind of what you had in mind, Sue?
I don't know, can't wait to see it.
Sorry,
Can I have the bar stool and an apple box, John? Thanks, Danielle.
And again, I'm matching that angle kind of. And what I'm looking for here is that the spread of this umbrella, and I can see it in the model light,
Bring your knees.
is kind of covering this whole area. I see it's coming off the bottom a little bit, so I could move it back, move it up, whatever. I'm just going to be lazy and do that, and now it's giving a nice spread. And I can just see that with the model light. So I'm going to have a look. Yeah, John, would you just put that up about half a foot still? Yeah, that's good. That's going to give us a light that kind of comes from up here in this direction, and it's going to feel like a window light from
Do you know
behind.
what? I'm going to do the shimmy again because it's fast enough. I want you standing.
Sue, I'll let you
Okay.
correct as you wish.
So the light source was behind me. It looked really, really beautiful. Where's our tether gone? And it blew me away, and I wondered if I could recreate this.
And you got the black, like kind of a black rim on both sides behind her? is
Yeah,
that-
well, it wasn't so much a black rim. It was just this beautiful depth that I don't normally get from natural light.
Okay. And how
And-
far was the window behind you?
Right behind me,
Right.
actually, like within a foot.
So you can do this in a small room.
So I was pushed up. I was this far away from my client, and I had my bum against the window, basically. Yeah, it was really close.
We're going to box you in
Okay, push your chin towards me, Katie.
on both ends.
So, as you know, I'm not telling Katie to put her chin forward and down because she's long and lean, but I am telling her to put her chin forward because it makes a significant difference,
Oh,
even on
easy.
lean bodies.
Go to ISO 100, and I'm going to, because you don't want to change your aperture, so I'm going to turn the power of this light down a little bit. This is the first time I've thought about the power of this light.
Can I put
It's
on?
fine, John, I've got enough.
Can I put on the neutral density filter?
Yeah, you can actually, let's do that, yeah. So then no one has to worry about the power of the light. That's the easiest way.
Why do we have this? Is that because?
And because flares, if you had a light source hitting the lens from this side, you would get a flare, light
So you
bounces on.
keep it on when you're shooting in the studio?
No, I like flares. Sometimes.
Yeah, I do. I like.
Depends on what you're after, really. You'll see it. When you see it for the first time, if there's lots of weird light coming to your lens, just put on one of these and it minimizes it.
You can see from the, you can see where the threads are.
I got it.
That's good. You need a womanly touch, you see, John.
this one fit.
So what are we going to do? We're going to just cut out some of that light. I haven't changed this at all.
So I'm going to set my neutral density filter. How many people here are going to buy a neutral density filter? Dun dun dun. Wish I sold those. Push your chin forward, Katie. Bam!
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like there's still a little bit too much light hitting the background. It's pulling her away from the background. Come towards me.
Yeah. If you do that.
Can we go back
Yeah.
onto scrim? Scrimmy scrim?
Yeah, and the further this goes away from the background, the less of that light is going to hit the background. And there's a...
Chin this way a little bit, darling. Stop.
It should go slightly darker. I mean, it's very gradual.
Okay.
Can we do this?
Yeah, sure.
Katie, would you hold that?
That's great. Have a look at that. So I want you to hold the dress at the back and I want you to pin your elbows. The reason we do that is because if I don't get her to pin her elbows and she turns with a flat arm against her body, which looks horrible. So when I'm getting her to hold her dress, she's actually doing something, so she's got a reason to hold her elbows back. And then I get her to do the little shimmy, and I get her to push her chin forward and look down because we love the lashes and the red lips. Slow down, but
So
do
what have you just
stronger
done,
movement.
Sue, on your camera? You changed something?
Nothing. I just wanted a shot of her doing a shimmy.
Oh, okay. You didn't change your setting.
More
it's still the
movement
same.
and more smile. Push chin forward, Katie. Good girl. That was gorgeous. Okay, do it again. More movement. That's it. That's it. Oh, I like that. Okay.
And can I just make one point? If this looks harsh when you do it, double up your silks, make it thicker. That's going to make it softer. You want to get as much, if you want harsh light, it's a thin silk. If you want it to be really soft, just soften it up. Go ahead, Christina.
What if there was a wall behind what you're doing? Because right now,
Yeah, I would
the
then
light's
just,
leaking.
Then you wouldn't even need the
Push
umbrella.
chin
You can
forward.
just bounce it off the wall and come back. Really easy. Go on, there was another question.
A little bit more of a smile. Push chin forward.
Okay.
Lips together. Push chin forward. Good girl. That was beautiful.
That's nice.
It doesn't look as nice on the screen. It looks pretty beautiful in here, though. I actually turned the density filter up another 2 stops. So it's on 4.
So you're cutting out 4 stops of light from
Yeah,
the flash. Yeah.
I am. And I
Great.
could get her further away from the background because I have big enough background to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really beautiful, and I love that.
Should we just show what you, if we walked this 10
Okay.
feet back, how it affects the background, just for the sake of, for fun.
So Felix, I actually was talking to Susan, and I was kind of shocked at how much light is bouncing back, because that's what I usually think of as a shoot-through umbrella. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't think it is bouncing that much back, and especially then when you've also got the scrim diffusing it, and you're working on ISO 100. Like-
Especially when it's not, it was 2 feet from the wall or 3 feet from the wall, and now
Right.
we have a ton of open space.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about how much light actually bounces back from that umbrella?
I think that specific umbrella, it has a little bit of a sheen on the inside, so it bounces some light back. I'm sure the manufacturer could tell you percentages and everything. For me, I set it up. If it wasn't working this way, I would then turn it around. Sometimes you just have fabric and bounce that directly in. Whatever works. This one happens to have a little bit of a sheen, so it's bouncing light back. But you know, if it doesn't work, change something. Just try. That's all I've been doing. So.
And does the MH Cooper Photography was wondering whether the height of the ceiling makes a difference at all? If you're shooting in a home with 8-foot ceilings, does this still work?
Yeah, if you use your Christmas ball to see how much light you're getting from the ceiling, definitely if you had a ceiling right here, it would bounce a little bit. Sometimes that's really negligible. Sometimes it might be good to block the light by putting some, like a black fabric, pinning it to the ceiling. Just try to cut that out, and you can just control it whichever way, you know, or put some black V-flat on top of this set up to just stop it from bouncing.
Great.
I'll take another question.
Yeah.
Lola Salinas would like to know if you're using an ND filter right now, and
Yes.
if not, what? You are?
Yeah,
Okay.
because we were already at 125th of a second, we were already at ISO 100, and Sue wanted to stay at f2.8. So one of the ways you could stop the light from being so bright would be to go up in your aperture, but we wanted it to be, didn't necessarily have that option, we wanted to stay at f2.8. Sue, if you bring Katie off the backdrop and shoot in the same same
So
manner.
I just did it then, so you can see it on the back of my camera. I'm at 1 stop of neutral density on the filter. I'm at 200 ISO because I wanted it soft and light, so I went up on my ISO. I'm at 125, 2.8. I've actually shot it just against the backdrop now. It looks quite contrasty on there, but you can see how soft it is on there. And when we edit that this afternoon, you'll be able to see how beautiful and soft it is. So come towards me even more, and I'll try and take the same shots at elbows in. Just bring your chin this way, honey.
And
Push your chin
the
forward.
backdrop should now be darker.
And she's brighter, so let me
And
adjust.
she's brighter, so if you turn it down.
Yeah, so I did turn, when I moved back to the wall, I turned the ISO up. So I'll
Because she's
turn it
now
back.
closer to that light, so it's gonna be brighter on her. So what have you gone to, ISO 100?
Yes.
Okay.
No, sorry, ISO 125.
Okay.
So if you compare those last two images, Nico, well, the one before the last, sorry. Yeah, so that was against the wall. No, sorry, the one before, that was the overexposed one. Yes,
There, yeah.
correct, perfect. So that was against the wall and that was away from it. I actually like against that backdrop, look at that.
It's that shadow makes it kind of feel natural and nice. But as you move her away, and you have to compensate in your camera because you're getting more light, the backdrop then becomes darker.
Right, so let's pull the scrim back. Katie, I'm going to get you can go that way. Let's pull the scrim back so that students can see that screen because they can't see it. There.
But I do have one final question that I do want to hit, which is talking about the backlit setup. Viorello wants to know, could you also do that with a giant softbox or octabox and putting the model exactly in front of the hot spot? Does that work?
Yes, it does. And I would diffuse, I have a giant Lassolite umbrella that I use because my traveling kit, I can't get all this stuff in it. And I put a silk over the front of the umbrella, so Russ, it would end up being like, I think this would be too small to do that with. It would kind of look weird, but if you had a giant umbrella, watch out that with lights, they get hot, so just make sure you don't cover the vents. Do it like that, and if the model's head is covering that hot spot, you get that wrap around really nice, but it's so easy to make this flare. The best setup is this.